In the Midwest, hockey isn't just a game. It's a part of who you are. For Marco Duronio, the ice wasn't just where he played, it was where he belonged.
So I've been playing hockey for almost 20 years now. I started when I was about 5 years old, watching the Red Wings play on TV.
The first time he strapped on goalie pads, something clicked. What started as a backyard dream quickly turned into an obsession, a chase for the next level. Every shot, every save, every bruise, it all meant one thing: progress.
I think I want to play college hockey. I think I want to play pro hockey. Mentally, I've always been one that always chooses the harder option of everything. That has helped me really build a resilience.
In Maine, that progress turned into opportunity. Junior hockey, scouts, a real shot at Division I. And then the world stopped. When COVID shut everything down, Marco went home. But he didn't slow down. He trained harder than ever until the pain started. A pain that wouldn't go away.
Throughout the year, I was having pain in my hips and pain down my leg. I actually remember getting a call from my doctor about the MRI, and I just knew I would have to get surgery and miss the next year. And I just remember actually bawling my eyes out. It was a very difficult time, and everybody else was playing hockey while I was at home doing this by myself.
When you spend so much of your life doing something and that's kind of just your goal moving forward, to kind of have the rug ripped from under you was definitely devastating for him.
5 years later, the scars still remain. Reminders of the pain, resilience, and purpose. Pain gave him perspective. God gave him purpose. What once was about stats and saves became about faith and surrender.
Because of the positions, especially goalies, are being put into, we can have multiple injuries that come from that. So we can have labrum tears, a hip dysplasia, bone fractures. We can have pelvic issues or rotation issues that cause an overuse injury, whether it be in the labrum or on the pelvis. Surgery itself, though the rehab process lasts about 4 to 6 months, it can be a really grueling process. So the first couple weeks, you're not allowed to do a ton of movement, but that's when athletes are like, I just want to play again, and it sucks.
This major surgery led to over 9 months of recovery. Every day was a battle, not just to rebuild his body, but to not lose himself.
At that point, all I did every single day was wake up, go to physical therapy, work out, do more physical therapy, and then I'd work out again.
After a year away, he returned stronger and hungrier. But life had another test in store.
I ended up making a team in the North American Hockey League again called the Amarillo Wranglers in Texas.
Just when his comeback finally arrived, so did heartbreak. Another injury, another season lost, another goodbye.
Having a really great practice and making all these backdoor saves and these big split saves. So I'm like, oh, I feel great. And I get my left foot caught in the ice and I dive over and I just feel a snap in my leg. I was like, what is going on right now? There's no way this just happened. I got sent home, and actually the day that I got sent home, my grandmother died. So I was just like, all right, I don't know what's going on. Do I just stop playing hockey?
He could have walked away. Many would have. However, God was not done with his story. Cut from the team, Marco's Division I dreams crumbled before his eyes. But there was still a door left open. Bethel University.
I had no idea what Bethel was. I had no idea where it was. The one thing I remember on my visit here was just talking to Coach McKelvey and assistant coach at the time, who was Brian Gibbons, how they ran the hockey program, what they wanted out of us, not just for the sake of being an athlete, but how are we going to be after we leave here as a man, as a husband, as a father. And I was like, nobody has ever said that to me. So I was like, okay, I want to come here. It was the best decision that I've ever made.
Gosh, I met Marco 3.5 years ago. He came in like a lot of hockey players, injured. He was post-surgery, which is great, but he was still having just some annoyances. He just wanted to play.
At Bethel University, Marco found something bigger than hockey. He found a brotherhood and a God who was still writing his story. Through faith, He found purpose beyond the performance, and through adversity, he found identity. Not in the jersey, but in Christ.
Hockey is a blessing that I've had, and a game. It's a game at the end of the day. The word that pops into my head is perseverance or relentless. So it's not about hockey anymore, it's about life.
Because progress isn't just about speed or strength. It's about surrender. It's about letting go and trusting the plan.
At that time, my faith wasn't very strong, and I was like, why is all this happening to me? And when I got to Bethel, just being around my teammates and being around my coaches and them being these faithful men of God, I'm like, oh, I want to be like that. And then I ended up giving my life to Christ in my freshman year. And I think that's been, that was probably the greatest decision in my life, obviously. That time in my life, it was exactly what I need because it set me up for what I'm going to do in the future.
When he got to Bethel, that whole perspective really changed. He's just got such a strong foundation now. And I think that his identity has completely changed too, especially with hockey. Now God's at the forefront of his identity.
The darkest season became divine preparation. What felt like loss was shaping him for the life that God planned all along.
When you can't do something that you've done for 20 years of your life, you sit in this almost an identity crisis, if you will, of I don't know where my value is. I once heard a phrase from someone that said, athletes die twice.
If I were to speak to somebody going through a terrible injury or identity crisis, I think I would just say, first off, to never give up, trust the process, and just put one foot in front of the other. I promise you that you are receiving everything that you need from God during whatever you're going through, and there is light at the end of that tunnel.
His story is proof that even in the waiting, God is working. We may not have what we want, but we have exactly what we need.
It gave me the motivation and the interest in medicine and the skill set of perseverance and relentlessness. It was exactly what I needed.
From broken hips to renewed hope, Marco's journey is more than a comeback story. It's a testimony, purpose in the pain, faith on ice.